Hi friends, let me show you the top 10 immunity boosting foods that I eat when I travel. Now you may not realize this, but your immune system is busy battling all sorts of oxidative challenges every day, whether you're asleep or awake. And when you're on an airplane, well, there's more challenges beyond inhaling someone else's exhale and getting sick from germs. Did you know that when you're riding on an airplane, that you actually get radiation? It increases your risk of cancer. Have you been putting on sunblock before you get on an airplane? Well, these days you can't really bring sunblock, but no one really thinks about the radiation risks of flying. And you can't exactly sunblock your way out of that. When it comes to flying, the closer you are to the sun, the more radiation you get. So if your airplane is flying higher in the sky, or if you're flying either end of the north or south poles, or you're flying longer, those increase your risk of getting radiation. And radiation damages DNA. It literally is the cause of aging and wrinkles, and it damages your internal organs. So that's why when I fly, I wear long sleeves and long pants, and I target foods that help me repair my oxidative damage. Number one is green tea. Green tea has a special component in it called epigalactocalagen gallate, EGCG. And so whenever I fly, actually every single day, I start my day with some matcha green tea. So I pour it in a glass like this. It just looks like it's powder. And then I add to this glass some water, or if I want to cut down the bitterness, I will add milk. I prefer soy milk. You can add whatever color milk you want. Just know that if you add dairy milk, it actually reduces the polyphenols of many drinks. So I don't add dairy milk to any of my drinks that I want to get more polyphenols from. I'm also lactose intolerant, so I don't drink dairy, period. I make it a point to swallow the antidote every day, first thing in the morning, so I don't forget. The other thing with green tea is that it has caffeine. Not as much as coffee, but it does have a third of the caffeine of coffee. So for someone sensitive like me, I will be up all night if I drink my green tea past 12 noon. So this is why I make it a point to drink anything caffeinated before 12 o'clock. I also don't drink green tea an hour after waking up, because at that point, I'm trying to clear adenosine so that I naturally perk up. I don't want to block adenosine with caffeine. Adenosine is why you get groggy and sleepy. And when you drink caffeine, it blocks the action of adenosine because it inhibits adenosine from binding to adenosine receptors. Now that is why you're perky. But the problem is the body still tries to relax. So adenosine helps you relax. And it's still trying to look for the adenosine, but it can't find it, right? Because the caffeine has blocked it. So your body makes more receptors. So over time, if you take up on caffeine, the more and more you drink, the more tolerant you become, and you need more and more caffeine to keep you wide awake and perky. So I avoid this cascade by waiting an hour after I wake up before I drink any kind of caffeinated beverage. I really only drink one caffeinated beverage, and that is green tea. And I only drink it because of its antioxidant properties, not because I like the taste. In 2020, when I was looking for different ways to enhance my immunity, I realized that, the Japanese, they've been doing this for years, and they give their young children or elders a cup of green tea in the morning to swish and spit, or to swish and swallow. And they do that as well in the afternoon when they come back from attending school. Simple act of gargling with green tea, they reduce the rate of respiratory tract illnesses. Now, for something this cheap to work that well, I just got myself some green tea and I trained myself to do it every day. Now, I've known for a long time green tea has anti-infective properties. Literally the FDA has a FDA-approved green tea extract to treat genital warts, right? That's caused by human papillomavirus. I also know reports of green tea helping with other skin conditions that are so difficult to help with other treatment modalities. And the medicinal properties of green tea have been known for thousands of years. But not all green tea tastes the same. In 2019, I had a privilege of visiting the capital of green tea growing in China called Hangzhou, China. I saw basically forests of green tea. The mountainsides were covered with green tea. In fact, I don't know, somehow my friend convinced me to take a gondola ride over all the mountainous green tea, and it was beautiful, but I don't think I'm ever going to take a gondola ride like that again. Now, what's even more incredible than was that I met a farmer of green tea. So my friend who knew this green tea farmer, and we went looking for her. So we landed in this city. It was really like, I couldn't believe we were in this muddy city with like little tiny homes, trekking through the dirt to go find the farmer. And at first we ended up in this place, this cute little cottage that overlooked tea bushes. And it was so cute. I thought maybe that was her place, but apparently it wasn't. It was kind of like an Airbnb where you can stay amongst the tea bushes. Her place was actually further up the street in muddier territory. So 2 city girls, we were there for a medical conference. We were trekking through mud to go find this farmer of green tea. And, we were actually trying to buy some green tea from her because we just heard her green tea was so good. And she was an exclusive grower or maybe exclusive green tea seller because she had a limited quantity of green tea. So she would only sell to her old clients. And this is a farmer who's been her family has been growing green tea, harvesting it, roasting it, and selling it for generations. So I felt very privileged that we were going to be able to meet her. So anyway, when I got there, it was an incredible story that I heard about how they would harvest the leaves. They would handpick every single leaf. And then from generations passed on to generations, they would slowly roast these leaves in very low heat to dry them up. And the leaves were perfect. It was like an art shaped. And then she told me that the first harvest was the lightest harvest, had the most fragrant. And then the harvest after that, as a leaf grows in subsequent harvests, it actually gets more bitter and darker in flavor. Usually in the past, when I drank tea, it would only really flavor 1 glass of water. But her green tea, actually the same leaves flavored 6 cups of water. So those were extra special green tea leaves. Now, matcha can be quite bitter. A lot of leaves are bitter. And some of the bitterness is actually due to the caffeine. Now, everybody metabolizes caffeine a little differently. I think I'm a slow metabolizer. That means caffeine lasts longer in my system as opposed to other people. So for me, I know I need to get all my caffeinated foods like cocoa powder and green tea before noon. Otherwise, I'll be up all night long. Now, if you overdo caffeine, it actually can contribute to dehydration. So if you're drinking caffeine all day long, you're going to have to urinate. And when you do urinate, you're losing water. And hydration is a key to a strong immune system. And that's why my drink of choice is filtered water. Now, I bring this bottle whenever I travel. And what's unique about this bottle is that it has its own filter. Let me show you. I unscrew the cap and there's a filter inside. So I can pour in tap water. Can't really pour really dirty tap water. It doesn't guarantee filtration of microbes, but it can filter lots of different organic solvents, antibiotics, inorganic solvents, heavy metals, plastics, even though this is made out of plastic, but there's so much more plastic in bottled water. So whenever I can at the airport stations, now that we can't bring any water, I just bring a refillable stainless steel container and I fill this up with even bathroom tap water in the United States when I don't have any water available in my hotel. Now, this hotel is giving me all different kinds of drinks. I don't drink any drinks. I just want water. I went to the store, but I didn't buy myself a gallon of water like I did in the past. And this is because I have this filtration bottle where I can just fill in tap water and have crystal clear water to drink. Now, in case you didn't know, whenever you're drinking plastic water bottle, you're actually drinking a lot of plastic particles. We are surrounded by plastic. There's plastic in our bodies. There's plastic in the ocean. So I'm trying to make it a point to reduce the amount of plastic that I use. I literally had this conversation with my brother today at the airport. And I know there's some form of plastic inside the lining, even though it says BPA free, bisphenol A free. Bisphenol A is known to be an endocrine disruptor. It's in so many things that surround us, right? We're surrounded by plastic because it is very versatile. But the problem is that these plastics, they interfere with our hormones and we're building them up in our bodies. That just can't be a good thing. BPA is known to be an obesogen. It causes obesity in animals. Now, we're not animals. However, we have very similar metabolism. And are you going to wait until studies definitively prove that BPA is actually doing something harmful? Or are you going to be proactive and just prevent it, eliminate it as much as we can? Because if you haven't noticed, the way our society works is we allow things to go on and on until there's definitive proof that it shouldn't happen, right? It's just like food poisoning. We allow contaminated foods to be sold until so many people get sick, then we recall it. I mean, is that really a good way to handle any kind of germ or any kind of toxin in our environment? I don't think so. I'm in the camp like Europe, where they take a more proactive approach to protecting their citizens. And of course, they still allow a lot of junky, crappy substances to be in their food. But now that we know that BPA can cause these things, I have no excuse but to try to get it out of my life. So all these toxins have additive effects to stress our system. From the radiation that I just rode on in the plane to the lack of sleep that I had because I was trying to pack for this trip, to the plastics that surround me if I'm using anything plastic. So I really don't want to have to drink it in my water. I used to buy airport water, in those plastic bottles. That would cost me $5 to $7. That's $5 to $7 worth of berries that I'd rather eat than drink plastic from a plastic water bottle. Our bodies are at least 70% water. So when we are low in hydration, it really messes up our metabolism and our immunity. The two go hand in hand. You need to have an efficient metabolism to have an efficient immune system. They're literally the guardians of your fortress. Now, there are several ways to lose water. You can sweat a lot in the heat. You can exercise, and when you increase your breathing rate, you actually lose more water. Or you can eat things that cause you to diurese, like too much caffeine. And when you're dehydrated, it affects your blood flow. And when you affect your blood flow, you reduce your immune resilience because your immune cells depend on blood to communicate, to travel, to get where it needs to be, right? So if you plug the road, no matter how you congest it, your immune cells won't get to where it needs to be, which is keep you healthy, every single part of your body. Now, if you think about when you go traveling, you're inhaling a lot of pollution, right? It's people pollution, but nevertheless pollution. And when you inhale these germs, how are you going to defend yourself if your mucosal membrane is all dry and chapped? This is why hydration is super important. When you are well hydrated, you make proteins and mucus that actually trap the germs so that they don't dock on your mucous membranes. And your mucous membranes are not just in your mouth, they're in your nose, they're all the way down your respiratory tree, as well as your gastrointestinal system. That's your internal skin. And you need to keep that healthy so that germs don't invade. You could be foreign germs from your neighbor exhaling, or it could be your own germs because you have a microbiome in your mouth, in your respiratory tree, and your gastrointestinal system that are there to help you be healthy, but they're kind of an opportunistic pathogen. It's like leaving candy out for your kids. If you keep it out of sight, out of mind, they'll never know the candy is there. But once you let the bag open and they smell it, they see it, they're going to go right for that. So once your integrity of your mucosa weakens, the germs that are supposed to be on the outside of your body will actually invade and take advantage and go inside. And that's when you get infections like pneumonia, bronchitis, gastrointestinal infections like ulcers. You can get sepsis, right? There's so many things that can go wrong when a germ enters our body when it's not supposed to be there. That's why people who exercise, they need to drink more water. They need to hydrate, right? And hydration is beyond just drinking water. You actually need a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar to help you hydrate well. This is why it's important to not just drink water, but to eat food. So if you eat normal food, you really don't have to salt your water. And it's not a lot of salt. It's just like a little pinch of salt. And you're dehydrated when you go to the lab and they can't find your veins, right? Or when the phlebotomist is fishing and poking and then swirling to find that vein to be able to aspirate. That's just not a good thing. By the way, I see a ton of people drinking blended coffee drinks or sugary drinks or soda. This hotel has an endless amount of soda. Let me show you the fridge. These sugary drinks will end up dehydrating you because number one, they're full of chemicals. Number two, a lot of them have saturated fat. Now, when you get a blended coffee drink, you not only are getting caffeine that can dehydrate you, you're also getting a high amount of sugar that actually changes your osmolality. So instead of putting more water in, you're actually putting more solute in. So you're actually making yourself more dehydrated. The other thing is when you eat saturated fat, especially from mammalian origin, it actually constricts your blood vessel, reducing your blood flow, opposite of what you're trying to do. In the old days, when I would take my kids to the airport, I kind of feel sorry for them. They really liked those sugary blended coffee drinks. So I would buy that for them. And they were so patient waiting in the airport. And now I realize, I was doing such a bad thing for their health and then making them more tired, more cranky. I really should not have done that. On top of that, the polyphenols are actually nullified when you put dairy protein. So that's another reason why don't mix dairy with coffee. If you drink your coffee for its health benefit, well, you'll just wipe it all out when you put that cream or milk. Speaking of green leaves, look what I brought from California. I brought my own dinosaur kale, Lactino kale, right? This is a kale that my farmer dropped off and I didn't have time to wash it, but I brought it because I was going to wash it here and eat it. So the reason why I look for kale or other cruciferous vegetables like arugula and the radish is because cruciferous vegetables have a super antioxidant in it called sulforaphanes. Actually, technically, it has glucoraphanin, and it has the enzymes that can convert glucoraphanin into sulforaphanes. Sulforaphanes is what helps your glutathione redox system. It makes it more efficient to regenerate itself so that it can continue to detoxify your toxins that you're facing just living. I honestly never know if there's going to be a supermarket for me to go to. That's why I bring my own stuff. And plus, with all the airport delays, we left in the afternoon. I'm not that far from Texas, but we were circling the airport because we couldn't land since the airport is undergoing some kind of runway reconstruction. And the reason why I had to bring my kale is because it actually helps to reduce the oxidative stress caused by radiation from flying. Look at this green leaf, right? It's just amazing. Look at how green that is. That is a super green leaf. And when you have this kind of green power, you have chlorophyll. This chlorophyll is an antioxidant by itself. And this green leaf also has vitamin A. That's why it turns yellow. But inside the chlorophyll is a magnesium compound. So if you've ever been really tired and sore from flying, and there's lots of reasons for that, but number one is if you don't have enough magnesium, you're not going to be able to prevent the soreness or to recover quickly from the soreness. And this is one of the ways that I ensure that I'm getting an adequate amount of magnesium daily. Let me show you the other way I get my magnesium. So I packed a seed and fruit medley. You see this? These are pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds have one of the highest amount of magnesium per ounce. And so I'm trying to eat pumpkin seeds all the time. Magnesium is so important because it's a cofactor to over 300 enzymes that are responsible for your health. That's a lot of enzymes. So this is all churning every day. And if you don't give it that key, the magnesium, it's not going to be able to keep you healthy. This is one reason why a lot of people get cramps, muscle cramps. I was one of them. I used to get muscle cramps, especially when I was pregnant. I would wake up with severe Charlie horses because I was on such a restrictive diet, feeling nauseous all the time and then working. I was so tired. It was horrible, right? I could barely eat anything. And I got myself magnesium deficient during that time. When you're magnesium deficient, you'll get more muscle soreness. You'll get more muscle spasms, right? This is why people with asthma, when they get an adequate amount of magnesium, their airways relax. This is true no matter what muscle we're talking about. And for cardiac muscles, when people have heart attacks, it's not uncommon people will hang magnesium. When we want to stop the uterus from contracting, it's not uncommon that they're going to hang a bag of magnesium, right? So this is why it's so important that we all get an adequate amount of magnesium daily. 50% of Americans are walking around magnesium deficient and they don't even know it. And do you know how you're going to know you're magnesium deficient? Well, besides the symptoms that I was telling you, we could check a level, but lots of times the levels won't be low. And that's because for something that important, God made a backup plan to make sure you had an adequate amount of magnesium. And what he did was he made your bone reservoirs the supplier of magnesium when you don't get enough dietary magnesium. So if you don't eat the right foods that are magnesium deficient, then you basically withdraw the stores, your piggy bank, that you had put in your bones. This makes your bones brittle. And you don't know until one day you fall and fracture yourself. That's why I don't want to take a chance. Not only do I take pumpkin seeds, I also take a daily magnesium supplement. As a bonus, pumpkin seeds actually help with hair growth. So that's another reason why I try very hard to eat pumpkin seeds. If you haven't noticed, I pack lots of food because number one, I don't like to pay the astronomical prices. I found a bag of almonds that was $20 in the store at the airport, right? $20. I don't have almonds, but I have pecans, I have walnuts, red walnuts. You can't find that at the airport stores. I have pumpkin seeds as well as dark cherries. These are things that it's going to be hard to find, especially ones that don't have any added salt or added sugar. And seeds are some of the most nutritious sources for protein. So in case I don't find any other foods that I can eat, I'm just going to munch on my seeds. Okay, today my suitcase was screened by the TSA. Literally, they pulled me on the side and they searched my suitcase. And let me show you why. They saw this giant ball in my suitcase next to wires, right? They want to make sure it wasn't something explosive. This is acute mango. This is from a farm near my home. It's not my home. It was somebody else. I think they grow it. It's a farmer that I got it from, but they got it from somewhere in Central California. Every year, I love mango season because I get to have these keep mangoes. Look how big this is. Let me show you in relation to an avocado. I also brought my own avocados. Look at that. It's even a bigger mango, right? It's like probably 4 times as big as this avocado. This mango is unique because it's so soft, it's so creamy. It's not as fibrous as the traditional mango that you'll find in the store. It's kind of like the Manila mango, except it's so much bigger, right? The Manila mangoes are a quarter of this size. And I eat mango because it's a yellow fruit. Now, I'm always looking for that pigmented food. Pigmented foods give me nutrients. The yellow is beta carotene. Beta carotene is a form of vitamin A, and you need vitamin A to fight respiratory infections. Vitamin A is literally the treatment for measles. Vitamin A is necessary to have good skin. I'm eating a ton of beta carotene rich foods. My kale has beta carotene. That's why it turns yellow when the chlorophyll denatures. And lots of, peaches as well as mangoes, right? These are all foods that have beta carotene. Carrots, they have beta carotene. So it's really the orange, yellow, reddish family of foods that give you the super important nutrient for your immunity, vitamin A. People actually take vitamin A as a supplement. I just caution you to be careful. You can actually overdo that and build up toxic levels of vitamin A. Vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin so that when you take it, it gets stored in your liver. And when you have too much of it, it can irritate your liver. And this is why people who are on Accutane for acne shouldn't take extra vitamin A supplements, right? Because you may build up too much vitamin A levels. Vitamin A is super important for cellular division, right? Your cells turn over on your skin, inside and outside, as well as your immune system. Actually, your immune system, the neutrophil, is one of the fastest multiplying cells in your body. And it has to, because it has to respond just like that when you have an insult. So if you're not eating things to help with its cellular division, then you're really inhibiting its optimal performance. So I always bring my own fruit because I really can't stand fruit that doesn't taste good. I'll eat it, I'll force myself to eat it, but I just won't enjoy it, right? And you have to enjoy your food to keep on eating. When you eat whole food, you don't just get one vitamin, right? It's going to be more than beta carotene. You're actually also going to get some vitamin C. Let me show you my highest vitamin C dense fruit that I brought from California. This is a bag of kiwis. Now, they're not grown in California. I find them quite common. I think these are probably Australian kiwis. They're golden kiwis. I washed them. That's why they're with paper towels. And I brought enough for 3 days. I basically am going to go through these kiwis 3 a day. Now, the reason why I'm going to eat kiwi is because this has been shown to reduce common cold symptoms. One kiwi is actually equivalent to the vitamin C in 2 oranges. Now, what's even higher in vitamin C than a kiwi is a red bell pepper. But this also tastes different than red bell pepper, right? Red bell pepper is hollow inside. It's not going to fill me up with hydration like the kiwi is, or just wet fruits in general. And I like the kiwi because it's so convenient. Even the skin is edible. Good source of fiber. So when your immune system is actively churning, you have to have a way to help it to replicate. And that's where omega-3 fats come in. The human body requires a way to make omega-3 fats. We can't just invent it by ourselves. We actually have to eat foods rich in omega-3 fats, as well as omega-6 fats. Now, in general, people are overeating omega-6 fats. They're in general found in all of your processed oils on the supermarket, right? From peanut oil to canola oil to sesame oil, they're all high omega-6s. Actually, animal fat also has omega-6s. So I'm trying to find ways to increase my omega-3 fatty acids. And that's where walnuts come in. Now, this red walnut, I had to hunt for specifically for its red color because of that extra polyphenols. But walnuts in general are high in omega-3 fatty acids. And when your cells are replicating, you need omega-3 fats in order to keep up the replication of the cells. These omega-3s get embedded into your cell membranes. So if you want to help your immune system, when it replicates, it has to have enough omega-3 fats in order to replicate. Now, flax seeds are another good source of omega-3 fats. I actually forgot to bring them. Can you believe that? I forgot to bring my flax seeds. Okay, my next immune boosting food is actually in this spice blend. I didn't separate it because it's just too hard to bring so many things. Okay, you see that spice? You know why it's yellow? Because it has nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is my go-to anti-allergy, antioxidant, B vitamin rich, protein rich, good supplement for B12, anti-inflammatory spice. So I literally take it every day and I sprinkle it just all over my food. I put a whole bunch of that in the beans that I eat for dinner. And the reason why I do that is because nutritional yeast has been shown to reduce allergy symptoms, which I used to get a lot of. Now I don't do that anymore because I cleaned up my diet. I'm also traveling, and because I'm traveling, I don't have the foods I usually have when I eat. So I want to make sure I'm getting enough protein as well as B vitamins, and that's why I bring nutritional yeast wherever I go. It's also a processed food because it's basically dead yeast, right? It's not going to grow. It's not going to contaminate any country. So anywhere I go, they will let nutritional yeast in. And it adds great taste and umami to so many different foods. Now, you probably can't tell, but I have actually turmeric in this container as well. And turmeric is my go-to DNA repair food. Notice I'm not taking curcumin, right? I'm actually taking whole turmeric extract. Some places, they don't let you take in like the root. So, when I travel out of the country, I can't bring in like plants, but turmeric spice you can because it's processed. It's not alive. It's not going to grow into a turmeric. Turmeric has so many anti-inflammatory properties. People use it to help with joint pain in general. I've read reports of how it repaired DNA damage from arsenic poisoning. There's so many beneficial properties of this best, most well-studied spice in the world. So unless you're allergic, you probably should consider eating turmeric on a daily basis. So I brought my own peanuts. And the reason why I brought peanuts is because it's an easy, convenient treat. It also has an ingredient in it called palmitoylethanolamide. And your body actually can make that itself. But you can also eat soybeans as well as peanuts to get some extra. Now, palmitoylethanolamide is actually an endocannabinoid. So it interacts with your endocannabinoid receptors, which modulate your immune system as well as your nervous system. It basically is a way to keep you healthy. Now, the interesting thing of palmitoylethanolamide was once marketed as treatment for common colds as well as influenza infections. And the way it helps is because it downregulates inflammatory cytokines and upregulates beneficial cytokines to help you fight germs. Have you heard of mast cells? Now, some people have all different kinds of mast cell-like reactions because they have too much histamine. That's actually a protein that causes a lot of leaky blood vessels, swelling. That's how you get hives. That's how you get itching. And palmitoylethanolamide helps to stabilize those mast cells to reduce histamine release. This is why I'm kind of bummed that Airlines aren't giving peanuts anymore, and they're getting processed foods that actually increase your inflammation, right? So I got 2 bags of processed food, a cookie and a pretzel. And on there it says it's vegan, it's natural. Well, a lot of natural things are highly processed, and a lot of vegan things don't mean that it's not junky, right? So those labels don't help me. I want to know specifically what's in the food and how the food is going to interact with my body. And that's how I choose whether or not to eat that food. Now, I know I've talked about 10 items already, but I just have to share this one last item. And that is these capsules that I take. I take ginger capsules. Now, you can make your own ginger powder, put it in these capsules and swallow it. I take these capsules because it helps with motion sickness. I am one of those people, if you put me on a plane, a train, a car, a boat, a ship, whatever moves, and if I'm not driving it, I'm going to puke. I'm going to feel really bad, and I need to take something to help prevent my parasympathetic nervous system from going wacko. Today's plane ride almost made me puke because it was going down to land and then it went back up because there was another plane on the runway. So then we were just circling the airport over and over. I don't know how many times we circled it. I finally had to just close my eyes and try to go to sleep, calm myself down so I wouldn't puke. But ginger has so many other anti-inflammatory properties. And if you want to learn more about that, watch the next video.